Did you know your sales team wastes nearly 50% of their valuable time doing things that don't bring you and your company any profits or revenue? Let me explain. If you're facing any of the following problems, then I can guarantee you that your sales team is wasting 50% of their time, which is at least 4 hours per day per rep, multiplied by the number of sales reps you have. I'm coming back to the numbers later, but first, let's see if you've noticed any of these business-breaking problems. The first thing you might have noticed is you're getting less and less appointments and your sales are not increasing the way you want. Now, the second thing you might have discovered is they're increasingly not able to bring you more and more highly qualified leads into your business. And the last thing you might have uncovered is your salespeople are losing their productivity and motivation, or they're not as productive as you think they should be. And to sum it all up, you're not happy with any of these business-breaking problems, even one iota. You think they can be doing better, and you know they can be generating even more sales appointments than what they're bringing now, which you know will lead to closing more sales and bringing more revenue for you and your company. But they're not able to accomplish this for some reason, and you can't figure out for the life of you what those reasons are. Now, let's calculate exactly how much time your sales team is actually wasting. Let's say you have 5 sales reps, and if each wastes 4 hours per day, this equates to 54 days each month. And in case you haven't done the math from there, that's 650 wasted working days every single year, completely flushed down the drain. You might be thinking I'm making things up, but unfortunately, no, I'm not making any of this up. These were stats proven in a study done where they found that salespeople actually waste 50% of their valuable time not doing the work that they're hired to do, selling your product or service. So don't get me wrong here, but in this human life, we have only one thing that matters, and that is time. And look at it through an unbiased lens. Time is the real currency for any person or business. You see, you hired salespeople so they can contribute their time, and by using the time, you can multiply the sales and revenue of your company. But the hard part is this: you can't blame them for wasting time, and you should not blame yourself for this unforgettable crime. Actually, there are 4 core reasons why this happens, and if you fix these problems, then you can turn even a rookie sales rep into a sales superstar. But before I tell you those 4 reasons, let me introduce myself. If you don't know me, my name is Patrick Spielman, and not long ago, I was facing the same problem. I mean, seriously, it's a total disaster to have this problem as a business owner, an entrepreneur, a marketer, a founder, or a sales leader, isn't it? Now, to be honest with you, that feeling was really terrible. I was so frustrated that I got fed up with it, and one day I decided it was time for a drastic change. And I started to do some research and went deeper and deeper to exactly find out what it is that separates me from successful companies who are consistently growing their business year over year, where I always used to think about where my next customer was going to come from. What I found was an absolute shock to me, and it shook my world entirely in that moment that I figured it out. What I found out was just the tip of the iceberg. You see, what most companies and their salespeople do is rely on what I call the hope and pray method. Each day they hope someone contacts them for their product or service, and they pray a referral is sent from someone in their network. For the businesses who have the early beginning of a sales strategy, I found that they're usually grabbing the cheapest list of leads and blasting out cold emails with the hope that someone will respond to it and book a sales meeting with them. Or they blindly make hundreds of cold calls randomly while thinking that what they're doing is making progress. But what I found is this is not the case with highly successful companies. There was a lot more to it. What I discovered just destroyed me from the inside out. I used to be so cocky, and I used to think that I knew everything when it came to sales and marketing until that enlightenment day when I truly learned about the secrets behind successful companies. Finally, I discovered why some entrepreneurs are always on the upswing, growing their business, hiring more and more employees, and achieving their goals, where you just think you need more time to scale up and hire more. I discovered there were 4 main reasons behind each and every successful company. And when I came across this discovery, it felt like it was just nothing and it wouldn't make any change in my business whatsoever. But believe me or not, when I dealt with those 4 things, my business skyrocketed. And people were asking me how in the heck in the world did I do it? And guess what? I shared those 4 reasons with them, and they dealt with those problems, and they also started to see a huge change in their revenue. In fact, take Matt for example. He's the founder of Digital Shift, an agency that was spending thousands of dollars a month on paid advertising, but wasn't converting that well. In a matter of a few weeks, he lowered his ad spend by over $3,000 per month and is now converting 5 to 8 cold leads per day into qualified opportunities, all with sending 30 to 35 cold emails. And the greatest part was this: he closed a $50,000 retainer in the first 10 emails, literally. So what are those 4 reasons? Let's find out. First, our lives, including business, are filled with distraction after distraction. There's a million different notifications from apps, emails, SMS messages, phone ringing off the hook, plus a ton of different software that you're trying to use to help manage and grow your company. This all compounds into a harsh reality of not staying focused on what you're really good at, which ends up spreading you way too thin, extremely thin, and not executing on a few things really well. Spending years of time and wasting thousands of dollars of your own money. Second, these distractions bleed into the lifeblood of your company, your sales team. Look, as you know, money doesn't grow on trees and revenue doesn't just magically appear out of nowhere. And with the world vastly transitioning to a remote working environment, the problems are getting much, much worse. Even if you have the best sales team in the world, if you can't fill up your calendar with qualified sales meetings, you'll always be stuck trying to maintain what you have and using the hope and pray method, instead of turning your sales team into a predictable, quota crushing machine. But what those big successful companies do is provide the best training to their sales team. And third, these days, sales teams are flushing their precious time down the drain on ridiculous administrative tasks like updating their CRMs, attending too many company meetings, fiddling around with all this ridiculous blood-sucking software that they can't focus on the very thing that you hired them to do: booking appointments, closing deals, and generating sales. And the result of all this is growth suffers. You're having inconsistent boom or bust types of months, missing quarterly goals, reps not hitting their true potential, staff turnover, which makes it literally impossible to scale the business past the run-of-the-mill mom and pop shop. And fourth and lastly, they use a scientifically proven human psychology in their outbound process, from cold emailing to cold calling to any outbound channel that you can count, that most of these companies are not aware of. And it's their best kept secret, their best weapon that only they and their salespeople know. See, most companies are not following a structured and proven process. They have no roadmap to success. Their growth happens mostly on accident because there's nothing in place that drives the bus on growing predictable revenue streams. But it doesn't just end there. There's one more thing, and it's way more important than the 4 reasons that I just mentioned. And to tell you the truth, it's about how to get rid of all of those problems that are stopping you, your sales team, and your company from booking more qualified sales appointments with your dream prospects, and then closing deals and making more revenue while spending the least amount of time is humanly possible on wasted efforts like the mindless admin tasks, fiddling around with useless softwares, and the hope and pray method of growing sales. And actually, in reality, all of these problems are completely avoidable and correctable if you just follow the right steps and the right process. You can build a sales generation machine, you can hit your growth goals, and you can scale your business if the right foundations are in place. To sum it up, you can have your cake and eat it too. And the truth is, building a repeatable sales process is somewhat straightforward, but it's all a wasted effort if you can't eliminate all those distractions that you're challenged with every day and get your sales team actually selling for you. Look, filling up your calendar with qualified sales meetings and closing sales is really easy if you get your sales team off the bench and focus on selling instead of being a glorified admin. Getting customers is simple if you target the right people, you nail down a message that resonates with your prospects, and you position your offer in a way that's completely irresistible, and you can close the deal. But businesses still mess this up. They waste their time on things that don't get results, they ignore missed opportunities, and lose focus on hitting goals. Plus, they struggle getting in front of the right people and generating new opportunities, and they struggle closing deals. And if you fall into this boat, don't worry, I have some great news for you. Imagine your sales team who might be going through the motions, all of a sudden morphing into a lethal, quota-crushing, goal-stomping, revenue-generating machine. Imagine seeing your calendars packed with qualified sales meetings with prospects ready to buy your product or service from you. And imagine adding new customers consistently and predictably. Or if you're badass enough to have a killer sales team, imagine 2xing their productivity and the results. Your monthly revenues climbing consistently and predictably. And imagine what your life and your company would look like knowing you're able to truly scale your business. How would that feel? Every entrepreneur, founder, and executive wants this, but a lot of them struggle to achieve it. Now here comes the question. How will you apply the best sales processes to your business? And if you already have a sales process and it's not bringing you the results you expected, then how are you going to understand what's the main problem with your sales process currently that is holding you back from massive success? Not to mention the systems, tools, and processes that work today, they're not the same that worked 1 or 2 years ago. So it's impossible to stay up to date and make sure that you're using the right systems, processes, and strategies. This stuff, although seemingly simple, is way harder than it appears. But what if I told you that at Uptics, we specialize in helping high-ticket service companies, marketing agencies, and technology companies scale their business for the first time or break through the plateau that they've found themselves in? Not only that, but with these same strategies and processes that have developed, I scaled 2 B2B businesses to $1 million a year from the ground up. Plus, I've helped hundreds of other entrepreneurs do the same in their business. For example, take Joe, the founder of Organic Outreach, who's a business coach and consultant who helps businesses implement killer sales processes. He was struggling with managing a bunch of different sales tools and implementing selling strategies that maximized conversions while not burning his lead list. The result is that now he's converting 10% of his leads into opportunities while controlling his sales process more efficiently by eliminating useless, blood-sucking admin tasks out of his sales rep's process. Then we have Sahil over at ClickTeams. They're crushing it with their done with you commission-only sales team program. They simply wanted to streamline their business and consolidate their software tools to take their current sales superstars and elevate them to Hall of Famers. Look, we've gone through the gauntlet to master this. I personally invested over $1 million through the years while slowly figuring this stuff out. And to be honest with you here, I tried every guru, I tried every course, I even took it 10 steps further and learned how the human mind works and what the psychology behind it is. And then I went to work implementing the best sales strategies into my businesses, investing hundreds of thousands of dollars of my own money into trial and error, courses, classes, and learning some of the best ways to generate more sales just to figure out one crazy and effective repeatable sales process that I can multiply at my own pace anytime. And of the 8 years I've been an entrepreneur, I spent 2 to 3 years figuring out what did not work, and I finally figured out a strategy and a process, plus built software to complement that where it just works cohesively like a well-oiled machine. We have a growing list of hundreds of entrepreneurs and sales professionals using our strategies, plus 1,000 and growing using our software, all while simplifying their lives, their process, eliminating distractions, and crushing their goals. Later, I found out that just having the world's most effective sales process is not powerful enough to take a sales team's productivity and motivation to the next level. Sales teams need to save time. Now I help entrepreneurs, founders, and executives increase their revenue and profits by implementing the best outbound prospecting and lead nurturing strategies and systems into their sales team with our cold to gold Accelerator and our sales automation software. Look, I've started 2 B2B service-based companies and also Uptics, a SaaS sales software. I'm the owner of Sculpture Hospitality Minnesota, which I grew into a top 10 franchise in 4 years and was number 1 and number 2 in business growth, while all the top players were around for over 20 years. I was the founder at Lead Engine, which I scaled to $1 million outbound prospecting agency in 14 months. I'm also the founder and CEO of Uptics, as I mentioned, where we help sales teams squeeze more revenue out of their lead list by applying the best sales processes to win customers much, much faster. Look, I've bootstrapped every business and have been in the trenches day in and day out to figure out how to scale. Okay, enough bragging. Now, let me tell you how I help my customers to get these amazing results and how exactly I can help you. Simply put, all we care about is growing your revenue. And over the years of doing done-for-you lead generation and cold outreach, and having now built a sales automation software, Uptics, I've combined the two into a kick-ass outbound prospecting and lead nurturing system that virtually guarantees your success. So let me tell you about our system and process. First, this is a joint effort between you and us, and you need to be willing to put in the work in order to get amazing results. We have a huge shortcut for you, but there's no silver bullet in life or business, especially in B2B. So here's how it works. Step number 1, we have a conversation to see if this is a good fit for you and for us. Look, it's a two-way street, but we only work with people that we're confident won't jeopardize our reputation and who we're sold will put in the work and get results with no excuses. Step 2, we analyze your entire sales infrastructure, including the way your team is structured, the day-to-day operations, how you're managing your time, and even the systems that you are or are not using. In step 3, we throw out all the shit that doesn't matter or is keeping you stuck where you're at, the unused systems, the lackluster processes, the non-existent structures or goals. In step number 4, now we start with the fun stuff, implementing new systems. Beginning with identifying your perfect prospects, if you don't already know who that is. We help you dial in your niche and the markets that you're trying to penetrate. It's extremely important to stay hyper-focused on just 1 or maybe 2 industries, and we do this by identifying your perfect persona. In step 5, we develop a targeted list of companies and businesses that are a perfect fit for your product or service. Step 6 will help write high converting sales copy for cold outreach and lead nurturing campaigns. So overall, there's 6 different types of core campaigns we'll implement into your business to ensure every single lead, cold or hot, inbound or outbound, has a defined sales process. In step 7, we build repeatable selling processes and systems that leave no stone unturned. From cold outreach to lead nurturing, your sales team will know exactly what to do and when to do it. In step 8, we use proven B2B selling mediums like calling, emailing, and LinkedIn to flood your calendar with sales opportunities. And last, we tune the machine and we make sure your economics are right, your client acquisition costs, your lifetime value, etc. And we put together a plan to scale your business. And from there, we're always tweaking to improve and stay on top of our game. This process has proven to work multiple times over and over again. And our sweet spot is helping high-ticket service companies, marketing agencies, and technology companies because we've done it. So if your goal is to make money and build a great business and you want to work with some of the best people in the world at this, then click the link and sign up for a free discovery session. On the call, we'll dive deep into how you're currently doing things, and we'll show you our strategies and the tactics that have worked for a countless number of companies. Now, who is this for? This is for serious founders, executives, and entrepreneurs who realize that you truly get what you pay for. And the problems we help our clients solve are the $1 million problems. So we work best with people who are willing to invest in their company and are serious about growing it long term. We want people who are all in and not looking for that silver bullet to magically save their company overnight. Our sweet spot is with companies who have a working product or service and at least $50,000 in monthly revenue or who are funded. Even better, you have a sales team of maybe 5+ people or you're willing to hire. Your product or service should be relatively high ticket, meaning your annual contract value per customer is $20,000 or higher. And we work best with people who are motivated and who are ready to take their business to the next level, and they're willing to try new things and get uncomfortable in order to achieve their goals. People who are preparing to weaponize their business and are ready to unleash their full potential. And lastly, who is this not for? This is not for people without a business who are just curious and you're just window shopping, right? Also, this is not for people looking for someone to magically save their company. This will take work, but we're going to give you a huge shortcut, years probably. And lastly, this is not for people scared to invest money into their business for long-term success. Look, we are the real deal. We have the numbers to back it up. And if you choose to work with us, it will be life-changing. I appreciate your attention and focus, and I look forward to speaking with you on our call. Click the link below to get started, and we'll see you there.